Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we have the Tractable and Luma Scanner panel. And Ted, exciting innovations coming from Tractable and Luma Scanner.
It's an exciting time to be in fixed operations. Jamie Anderson and James Spears are here with us. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Gentlemen, we're hearing a whole lot about Tractable and Luma Scanner in the marketplace. So, if it's okay, let's dive right into some questions that Sarah and I have for both of you. Here we are in the middle of May, middle of the second quarter. And Jamie, if I can ask you, how has uh, the Luma Scanner evolved to meet the high volume daily reality of 2026 dealerships?
That's a great question, Ted. I think one of the things with Luma Scanner that's a big differentiator between other companies is, at our core, we're a software company. So when you ask about the evolution, I think it's going to be very specific to every single dealer that comes on board. So one of the things we refuse to do is be an off the shelf solution that you just unbox and it's the same. So one of the things, we're doing is we're applying different engineers to different use cases for every dealership. So, we've got the specific items that, between the undercarriage, the total scan, tires, things like that. But every dealership has its own use cases. So what we're doing is we're fine tuning it for every single use case for every specific dealer. And then also with the integrations. So right now we've completed our seventh, and we've got about 12 on the docket right now for all these integrations. So to really help streamline their processes and get integrated within their systems, and eliminating a lot of the manual procedure that's happening within the dealerships.
Well, Jamie, to follow up on, the high volume components and as you described, dealerships are really looking at having more and more vehicles coming through their service drives. How does the scanner help dealers cut their policy budget and stop eating missed damage costs?
Absolutely. So, what we're finding is a lot of the dealerships, we have no caps on our scans. So it's unlimited scans for the dealership. So with the used car department, we're asking them run every single trade through the scanner and get a complete 360 of the vehicle. And then, as we mentioned earlier, we put a price to it. So it helps with that trade-in evaluation. But also for the policy piece, if anybody comes through and the next day they say, hey, this happened while it was at your dealership, while I was getting an oil change, every scan is time date stamped. So we're able to see right there whether the damage occurred beforehand or actually at the dealership. And this is become very helpful for them because now they're utilizing it not only for policy, but also for all the new cars that are getting brought in from the manufacturer, any fleets, loaners, anything like that. We're asking them run every single car through. So it's helping on policy, but it's helping in all these other departments as well.
Jimmy, a question for you. Um, uh, on the heels of the Q1 installations you've done, what would you say is the number one lesson you've learned from your most successful installations over the first couple months of the year?
Well, we launched this product to the dealerships at NADA in February. And, here we are in May. We have so many installs. We've learned that our customers really like, you think about our three pillars. Number one, we're vertically integrated. We make the device, we service the device, we install it. Number two, we have such a great technical advantage. We're 12 years old in software and artificial intelligence, detecting damage and inspecting on vehicles. And then number three, it's so simple to use. So that's what we've seen, is this device being able to be rapidly set up at a customer, and they're up and running that very day. We have no more than 90 minutes for the typical install, and it
Oh,
plugs into the wall just like your toaster will. So this is really a very fast way to start to earn that ROI in the fixed operations.
Well, Jimmy, this really beats some of those bulky hardware scanners that dealerships have maybe struggled with. And as you mentioned, That software first AI component, I'd love to get more information on that. How have you built, Tractable and Lumascanner to really be software first AI?
If you think about the Luma scanner and you see it, it's a very slimline device, just centered on 10 cameras, underbody camera, and also tire reader. So it's just a great data collection. What we collect between 3,500 and then 4,000 images of the car that comes through at between 2 to 5 miles per hour. And so as that car comes across those cameras and across those lights, we're able to detect every nick, every bump, every hail damage, if there's that as well, and then be able to use our 12-year-old foundation. We got a very early start in AI, particularly in damage recognition in automotive areas. So being able to use that, our long history in the market, then we can convert that right into something that's so simple for the technician to explain to the customer. It's just a great way to be able to have a dashboard and relay that information to the customer in a very easy, meaningful way.
Jamie, if I can come back to you, we know the industry is ready for this. Dealers are ready. Consumers are craving this kind of transparency. But Jamie, with the rapid scaling you've experienced at Tractable and LumaScanner the last couple months, what's been the biggest surprise in how dealerships are now actually utilizing LumaScanner? What have you seen?
I think the thing that jumps out at me the most is the PDR piece in the collision. Majority of the dealerships have, and some of our pilots have told us flat out, we've neglected our collision centers or we don't concentrate on the PDR. So this has really brought a lot of attention to them of missed opportunities in the service lane, and being able to have those customers that are coming through the service lane on a normal basis be able to show and educate that consumer, hey, this is the damage that's on your vehicle. This is how much it would cost. Would you like us to have somebody repair it while you're on site, or would you like to make an appointment with our collision center? So you're seeing this bridge being built between the collision center and dealership, and they're realizing, hey, there's a lot of opportunity here that we're missing out on. And for the collision center, it's a huge benefit because now they're getting all these opportunities on a daily basis when in the past they've kind of missed them. So that's been a huge plus for both sides of the house.
And Jamie, I'm glad you brought up, both the variable side and fixed side in this equation, because more than ever we're seeing an emphasis on service acquisition, and also, used car managers are paying close attention to every piece of inventory, potentially that's coming through the service drive or coming in off the street, for those trade appraisals. So we've heard about underbody capabilities. Is that becoming a standard requirement for used car managers now?
100%. So we just had an example last week. I was with a fairly large dealer group, and they asked me. They said, "Where were you yesterday?" Because they took a trade in, and in some of the markets, people are modifying trucks and putting off market exhausts and taking catalytic converters off and things like that. And he said, the sales guys at 8 o'clock at night are trying to get that deal done, and next thing you know, the next morning they come back in and they've got $10,000 loss on that car because they realize that exhaust has been modified or taken off. So they have to replace that before they can put it back on the front line. So a lot of these dealerships now are saying, hey, every single trade must go through. We have to be able to look at it and see if anything's been modified underneath, because that's a huge loss for the dealership the next day, trying to make up that loss and then trying to get it retailed as fast as possible.
It makes a lot of sense, Jamie. And with used vehicles being at a premium and dealers needing to acquire them, you've got the technology to help them and mitigate any potential losses. I want to come back to something you mentioned just a little bit earlier about collision centers. Uh, what is the win-win for a dealer when a local collision center decides to place a Luma scanner on, let's say, their service drive?
Yeah, it's definitely a win for both parties. And I mentioned it earlier about building that bridge between the dealership and collision center, whether it's their own collision center or a partner collision center, because the we tried to build it where it was very specific. where the dealership benefited multi-use tools. But then the collision center also is getting a lot of opportunities for that PDR work, some of the collision work, and then opening the door for the dealership to sell more parts, more work, more part sales. So the benefits for both parties, we're finding everybody's very excited by it, because now the dealerships multi departments are using it for different use cases. Collision center, on the other hand, is just reaping the benefits of all the different opportunities that are coming through the service drive, where it's educating the consumer, and that's going to be the key component to that.
James, we're also in this equation talking about a lot of the efficiencies that are gained for for all of these processes to really occur. And as Jamie pointed out, this is really the evolution between having a cohesive strategy between variable and fixed operations. I also, again, you mentioned the install is only 90 minutes. Can a dealer move the scanner if they decide they need to reconfigure their service lane?
They can. And in fact, it's just a simple phone call to us to let us know it's going to be moved. Our operations can absolutely work with them to ensure that when they unplug it, move it, and get it back in, that everything works very well. But certainly, and one of the reasons we would want this to be moved is because they're going to a bigger facility. We've helped them get a lot more money, and they're able to open another lane, maybe put another Luma scanner in as well. But yeah, Luma scanner is a very flexible device.
And Jimmy, I think that's one of the reasons Luma Scanner stands out, okay? I wasn't sure if I heard that correctly the first time, but 90 minutes for the installation.
Yes.
That's absolutely incredible and unprecedented.
It is, and but a lot of this comes to our processes. The installation doesn't start when the tech shows up. The installation starts when you talk to us and you buy the device. So we know where it's going to be. But we have so we can get eyes on target and then see where it's going to be installed. So when we show up, we're fully prepared. So you think about installation, not when the tech shows up. Installation starts at the moment of sale. We're really thinking about how we're going to best service that customer.
And you're really forcing the dealer to think about that as well with this new technology. So, in our closing moments, gentlemen, I want to ask you, and Jimmy, I'll come to you. What does the growth of Luma Scanner, your product, tell us about where technology, where service drive, where all this is headed uh, by next year, by 2027? What are your thoughts there?
Well, what we want to see, and it's called service drive. We really want to see that word service, and so do the customers. If we take a look at some of the biggest complaints that people have about coming to a dealership, it's always around speed, 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 speed. They want speed, they want accuracy, and they want service. So I say, let's put that service back in the service lane. And then we let our device have the car come through. We rapidly, again, 30 seconds when the car drives through. Now the technician or the service advisor, they're really advising because our device spotted all the damage. Now they're concentrating on the needs of the customer. They're looking up that service history, knowing it's not like the first time they just met the customer. So they're concentrating on that customer and that experience. And that's what we've seen. We've seen people that have started using our device come back to us and say, the experience and the lanes are so much better. And what we want to be able to see, and particularly in the future, we are seeing our installs. We have them in Japan, we have them in the UK, we have them across the United States, and it's only been a couple months. So what we want to see is Tractable become much more of the standard in the service lane, and then people are able to focus on that customer and let the technology. You've seen the device. It's a very low profile device. It doesn't need to be intrusive. You need to focus on that customer.
And that's one of the things we've heard from dealers as well, all right? It's a good-looking device. You've given us a lot of great information here. The time is now, everybody. The company is called Tractable, and Jamie, it's not an overnight company. I heard 12 years. You told us about that last time. You've been in the market for some time, but really, that overnight success has been many years in the making, if you will, and the time is now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I think that's one of our distinct advantages is just the age of our AI. We were famous before AI was famous, So, adapting that AI to a hardware solution is just a game changer. We're seeing that in the market right now.
Everybody, trust and transparency. We're told customers absolutely love it. Okay, and grow
Yeah.
to expect it, Sarah, when they come back on the service lane. And Luma Scanner has all that, Sarah.
It does. And gentlemen, if our audience wants to learn more and find out how your solutions apply to their dealership and their businesses, what's the best first step?
I would say, you know what, my phone number, my personal cell number is at the bottom there, or they can reach out to me at james.anderson at tractable.ai. Same with Jimmy. Either which way, reach
And of
out to us.
course,
Be more than happy to help.
lumascanner.com.
That too.
That's right. You see the website on the ticker down below, Tractable, lumascanner.com. Jamie's cell phone on the ticker, the 352 area code number. We want our audience to reach out with questions, and these gentlemen have a lot of experience in getting this up and running and sustaining it with great success. So, Jamie Anderson and James Spears, congratulations on all the success you're having, and we're looking forward to seeing and hearing a lot more about Luma Scanner as we go through the years.
All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody. For questions, reach out to Jamie Anderson, James Spears. Lumascanner.com is the website, and 352, you can see the number down below for the cell phone. You can reach out directly to them. Everybody, the team from Tractable, Luma Scanner, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.